Hey there, we're Freeaim, the makers of the VR shoes that I'm wearing here. If you are new, these shoes are motorized and act like little treadmills on your feet. Not only that, but each shoe has two modules that can rotate, so the shoes can move you sideways as you walk forward. I'm bringing you some more footage of Metro Awakening because, frankly, I have a lot of it. It's pretty fun. I'll let you watch the gameplay for a minute or two, so without this voiceover. Then later in the video, I'll be back to answer some questions people have asked on our recent videos. This video has chapters, so if you want to look at some questions ahead of time, you can use those. Somebody's got to have the key for this, though.
I don't know if you handled that kind of trolley before, but Akim was complaining it's hard to start. Admittedly, Akim is an idiot.
And I'm back. I'll do a Q&A, but also read some nice comments that people recently left too, just to show some appreciation. If you have a question or comment, be sure to leave it below and we may get to it in a future video. While you're doing that, maybe like and subscribe as well. Most of you are not subscribed, so please do so, it helps a lot. Making this channel more popular will help Freeaim succeed. Okay, so the first question is somebody asking about how the shoes mitigate travel. Like how these shoes keep you in the center of your play space without you drifting towards the edges. And we have an algorithm in the shoes that we call position correction. So the shoes can increase your speed slightly or decrease your speed slightly to move you back to the center in a, using a forward motion kind of way. And then, like I mentioned earlier in the video, the shoes have drive modules that rotate. So as you walk forward, the shoes can move you sideways. So if you start drifting to the left or the right, the drive modules can rotate just a little bit more to slowly move you back to the center. If you start drifting forward or back, the shoes can speed up or slow down to move you to the center. So that's why in videos like this, I stay on the mat that I'm walking on. It's the position correction that is constantly doing little corrections to my movement to keep me in the center of the play space. Okay, next someone asked if we could explain what the installation for games looks like at this point. So right now, the shoes only support Steam VR, and they should work with any Steam VR game that has smooth locomotion already. So the shoes basically act like another controller. So what the installation looks like is we would give you an MSI, so an installer, and you would install that on your PC, and that would add our Steam VR driver. So when you open up Steam VR will automatically pick up on that driver, and what that driver does is it communicates with the shoes, and it basically translates movements from the shoes into joystick commands, and those joystick commands are sent to the game via Steam VR. Once you've installed the driver, you can load up Steam VR and you can pick a game. If it's a game that we've already made what's called a binding file for, then the game should just work. You don't have to do anything, just load up the game. Otherwise, if the game doesn't have a binding file yet, then you may have to set that up, but it's pretty easy to do. Like I said, the shoes kind of act like a game controller. So this binding file is where you bind actions in the game to like joystick commands and that sort of thing. So it's pretty easy to do, and we'll have instructions on how to do that. And if somebody else who has VR Shoes has already set up an input binding, they can share that on Steam so that you can just use the community binding. So once we have a lot of people who have shoes, then we can have a community where everybody can share the bindings. Okay, next I'm just going to show a bunch of positive comments that people have left on recent videos. So comments where people are saying the shoes are great or it looks great and they intend to buy the shoes and that they're excited and so on. So we really appreciate all of you leaving these comments. As a small startup, as I know you can imagine, it can be hard. So this really is, these comments are really encouraging. So thank you. I do want to focus on one particular comment that somebody left and talk about that a little bit though. So this comment is where they said, one thing you realize with VR treadmill setups is how big digital worlds actually are. It's an easy thing to ignore when you are just pressing on the thumbstick, but when you actually exert yourself, it gives a very real sense of the scale of the environment. And this is something for me that, yeah, is really something with these kinds of VR locomotion devices. And it really, I want to add to this that it adds to the immersion, and it just adds and makes the game better. So like here in this game, I'm playing Metro Awakening, and I will say that the first part of this game, it's pretty slow paced. You're not doing a lot of shooting. It's just a lot of walking from point A to point B, and you're scavenging along the way, and maybe you're interacting with some valves or talking to some NPCs. But it is a bit more slow paced. The game definitely picks up later, and it was a lot of fun. But during this slow paced time, I was still having a lot of fun, and I think a big part of that is the shoes, because I get to actually walk in the game. I think there are parts in games where if you're just using a joystick, they'll seem boring. They'll just seem boring, but if you're using a VR locomotion device, it just makes it that much better. There have been times when I'm playing big scale games like No Man's Sky, where instead of taking my ship and going to like a spaceport or something, or like something in the distance, I'll just walk, because that's how much I enjoy doing that, and it's just an enjoyable experience to just walk over there instead of flying over there. So yeah, I think this was a great comment and an insightful comment. Thanks for leaving it, and I just wanted to add what I think to it. And with that, I'll wrap up the video. Again, if you have a question or comment, be sure to leave it below, and we may get to it in a future video. Be sure to like the video, and according to our analytics, most of you are not subscribed, so please subscribe if you want to. It really helps the channel, and it will help Freeaim succeed. So, with that being said, see you next time. Bye.